Good evening, everyone. Today, June 18, 2024, at 6 p.m., a call for order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Supervisor Aliaga.
Here.
Clerk Newbeck here. Treasurer Brown is absent. Trustee Morocco is absent. Trustee Nalamothu. Here. Trustee Ritchie.
Here.
And Trustee Tedder.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. A couple of things. First of all, I would like to add a presentation I have ready to present to the public. And also, I would like to remove item that I didn't approve. And the item is the item number 1. There's no regular business. So I need a motion.
Okay,
Sure.
can I have a
Sure.
minute? I need to amend the agenda by removing item L, regular business number 2, request to approve first reading of amendment to mobile food establishment ordinance and approval of fee schedule. And I wasn't aware of your presentation that you're adding. What is that? So we can add
I
it to
have it
the
right there. It's presentation of the supervisor to the public and to the board.
presentation to the of the super.
Of the supervisor, Jose Aliaga, to the public and to the board.
Is this appropriate time to add agenda items?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, I'd like to add an agenda item regarding the printing of large documents such as site plans.
Sure. Can you have the microphone close so people?
Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I would like to add to the agenda discussion pertaining to the distribution of large printed materials such as site plans to our appointed and elected officials.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is now the time to amend number 1? Sam's not here.
Well, he said he wanted to pull it, but I do think
Yeah.
that we should, I'm just going to add to that, I do think that we should pull item
L1.
L1. Yeah, we can't hear.
Yeah, we're gonna, okay.
Being that trustee Morocco is not here.
Yeah, we're gonna pull out. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so we need a second? I guess I'll second.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Jose,
Yes?
we did not hear. What
So we just pull the request for approve the consideration of creating township superintendent. We pulled that out. It's not gonna be for tonight. But also, trustee Jim Tadder wanna pull to talk about, to print some documents for the PC members from our building and our zoning department. And also,
We pulled item regular business 2,
and also number 2, we pull it out.
and you're adding,
And I adding a presentation, they're gonna present it tonight to the board. Okay?
As H2?
Yeah, number 2. Number 2.
and I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Okay. Board members and public announcements. Anyone from the public would like to address to the board? Okay,
These are items not on the agenda.
yeah. Items that are not on the agenda, so it's fine.
Not on the
Yeah, because now it's not on the agenda, the superintendent.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Usually the board comes first.
Board comment? Oh, what?
Linda Bazone, 7925
Wow,
Foster
no.
Road. My
Oh.
concerns with the audit is in Appendix 1, Page 2. We had an audit presentation at the last board meeting. Page 2 says, "We have identified the following significant risk of material misstatement as part of our audit planning. 1, management override of controls. Why did management override controls that were put in place? Financial controls help businesses ensure that they have the necessary funds on hand when needed while minimizing the risk of fraud or misappropriation of funds. Number 2 was improper revenue recognition. Improper revenue recognition, I know that this happens occasionally in business. An error can be done where a jail account is misused, but this is usually caught at your month and end closings, easily corrected. Revenue recognition poses significant risk to organizations when revenue has been improperly or incorrectly recognized due to error or fraud. potential penalties and reputation damage can occur. It seems that if these were one-offs or isolated instances, they would not have made it to the report. How many management overrides were approved, why and by whom, and how many times was revenue improperly organized? Is there one employee responsible for these errors, or is it a department problem? Also, my second concern is in Appendix 2, page 6, the bank reconciliation and year-end closing procedures. It states, in 2023, the township experienced employee turnover in some key positions, which were responsible for various reconciliations and closings of the books at year end. During our audit, we noted the following. We sampled bank reconciliations during the year and noted that the township was behind on the reconciliations in some instances for several months. Bank reconciliations related to December 2023 were not prepared until March and April of 2024. Property tax and other reconciliations related to closing the year end were behind schedule and provided for the audit later than requested. This also resulted in several journal entries being provided to us after their balance was received. These conditions collectively showed that the various reconciliations were behind during 2023. I personally worked in a large skilled nursing facility for over 15 years, and I was over the accounting department. There is no way that I could have told the controller, I can't close the month or I can't close the end of year. It was just expected that you did your job, let alone for several months. And definitely not reconciling and closing the year would have been a fireable offense. Not acceptable. It states on here that this was due to employee turnover. As you know, skilled nursing facilities struggle with turnover. But as a head of the department, I would have to roll up my sleeves, sharpen my pencil, work late, and even weekends to make sure that it got done and that I met my deadlines. In no way is this acceptable of a township. It seems to me that neither the clerk or the deputy clerk, the treasurer or the deputy treasurer were willing to roll up their sleeves to make sure that these items were taken care of in a timely basis. To add insult to injury, on January 10th, there was a special meeting. Nancy from legal stated that an employee who had received disciplinary action had requested an open meeting. Unfortunately, the employee did not show up. But we learned that the employee had made some serious errors totaling over $100,000. The serious errors included missed payments, overpayments, employees who did not receive paychecks or did not have contributions for retirement corrected. One employee had to enter into a payment plan to pay the township back for the money that was fronted due to the mistake. Even trustees missed payments. This was a high-level deputy position. At the tail end of their introductory period, employee was advised that by June, they needed to make sure they were performing these tasks. These tasks were not met to satisfaction. It seems that both the treasurer's office and the clerk's office is in need of a forensic audit. A forensic audit is used to uncover criminal behavior such as fraud or embezzlement. With everything uncovered in these departments, the residents need to be assured that we are free of fraud or embezzlement. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Before I go, any board, so what happened, I was asking for board members' comments, and we jumped to that. Is any comments from you?
I do have a comment tonight. Not long ago, just a couple weeks ago, Independence Township, Oxford Township, and frankly, the greater area lost an amazing individual, Don Steiner. I don't know how many people had the opportunity to know him, but he became a dear friend. We met back in 2018, and his wife Marge and I, or his wife Marge and he became very dear friends. He proudly served in the U.S. Navy from 1942 to 1945. Sadly, he passed just 9 days before his 99th birthday. And he was, certainly as many of us that have had World War II vets and other vets in your life, they certainly broke the mold when God produced Don Steiner. And so I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge his passing and how greatly he's going to be missed. He was born in Clarkston on Holcomb Road And he had a really interesting story, being, born at home and with obviously a very healthy birth. And so he's going to be greatly missed. Again, Don Steiner, rest in peace, and may your memory be eternal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Anyone else? We're good? Carrie?
I've got a couple. First of all, I wanted to mention the Women's Veterans Recognition Day occurs each year on June 12th. It's a project of the National Military Women's Memorial, which honors more than 3 million women that are veterans or currently enlisted in the military. Our local resident and veteran, Joette Kuntz, recently participated in Michigan's first all-female honor flight on June 11th. The honor flight took veterans to Washington, D.C., to tour the nation's monuments and was completely free for the women who served our country. Independence Township thanks our veterans who sacrificed so much and served their country with pride. Also, I wanted to remind everyone that the first bulk mailing of absentee ballots will be going out and should be expected to be delivered to voters by the end of next week. And keeping that in mind, it's a reminder to voters and candidates that are appearing on the ballot for August 6th, beginning next week, campaigning activities are prohibited in the clerk's office during the period when voters are receiving and returning their absent voter ballots, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay. All right, public comments now? Anyone else that would like to address to the board? Oh, sure. State your name and address, please.
How you doing, Jose? Sandra Rahman, 9308 Oakmont Drive. I have a couple questions since we're on the voting thing. I would like to make a statement that we need to stop the mail-in ballots. There's a whole week for early voting and plenty of senior and handicap transportation for that. I'd also like to add that you're allowed to be within 100 feet of any signs or advertisements or flyers that you might want to send out or give or recommend, and that these are being taken down from the churches, and that's not allowed. So thirdly, I'd like to acknowledge that it's come to my attention that you have positions that you're trying to hire for Independence Township, full-time positions available. Assistant Finance Director, Building Inspector 2, so that means you must need 2 inspectors. Code Enforcement Officer, Parks Labor. There are also many part-time and seasonal opportunities. I'd like to see the treasurers maybe do some more work and hire less people and get these jobs done within what we have already standing. Thirdly, I'd like to protest the new amendment for the chickens. There is no reason to be babysat for chickens. There's pretty much an abandonment now for no roosters allowed whatsoever. You can only have 4 chickens with an acre. You can only have 10 chickens with 3 acres. No roosters whatsoever. So if you happen to get a chicken and he turns out to be a rooster, you gotta find someone else to have it. You should be able to have 3 acres, plenty of room for roosters and chickens if you take care of them. Thirdly, you have to have a permission slip from an HOA to have chickens in a subdivision. There is no reason to be babysat by an HOA. You need to let us live our own life and have our own responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Dorothy Day, 5765 Dora Lane. I just wanted to piggyback off Carrie's remark a couple minutes ago about the World War II vets. I wanted to remind everyone that the Rosies and the Yankee Air Museum are always looking for women who served in other capacities other than in the armed forces. And so I'm saying this because my neighbor growing up just turned 100, and she has now, her family is just now putting in her application to become a Rosie because she worked for a federal contractor during the war here in Detroit. So
Thank you.
you
Thank
know,
you for sharing that.
get the word
That's
of,
awesome.
you know, word out. Thank you.
Sure. State your name and address,
My name is
please.
Vincent Bizone, 9725 Foster Road. I would like to address the totally inappropriate presentation Pat Kittle made to the board on April 16th. Pat made spurious and misleading allegations about Supervisor Aliaga's relationship to the cannabis industry with the intentions to promote cannabis in the township. There's absolutely no evidence to support that allegation. His remark about politicians wearing a sponsor jacket so we know who owns them was insulting and should have brought this diatribe to an end right there. But you allowed Pat Kittle to continue to attack Jose. I sometimes get the feeling that Pat Kittle is working behind the scenes like Iran and is waging a war through his proxies. Then I got this in my mailbox, okay? Chuck Pyle running for Jose's job, running for supervisor, right? And his family is in the cannabis business, if you weren't aware of that, and through the Oak Park Pharmacy that his family owns. The first part of their mission statement in that organization, to grow superior high-quality cannabis, okay? And when I got this in the mail, what did I find? Look, endorsed by Pat Kittle. Pat Kittle was endorsing some guy in the marijuana business, and he's accusing Jose of wanting to bring cannabis to the township. That's absolutely hypocrisy. I thought hypocrisy was limited to Washington, D.C. I see it's raised its ugly head here in Independence Township. Thank you. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you.
So I'm Chuck Fowle, and I live in Independence Township, and it would really be awesome if you do your homework. I have 0% ownership in that, and have never been involved in it, nor have any desire to be involved in it, and 100% against it in Independence Township. That's all I got to say.
Are you the president of File Processing and Extraction LLC?
Nope.
You're not?
No, that was a hemp business, not a cannabis business.
I see.
So again, just get your back straight and everything will be cool.
Anyway, my name is Terry Whitney, 4814 Sundale Drive. I'd like to address the fact that we are financially a disaster. $600,000. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not standing near this stupid thing. $600,000 is what we're here to talk about tonight. Last week it was nearly what, $50,000? Where was the treasurer? I mean, we understand Jose didn't do his job, but where was the treasurer in this? Jose looked at the treasurer, and the treasurer said, oh yeah, well, I know. Well, you know what? That's not right. I mean, you're a full-time employee. You were supposed to report to the treasurer. The treasurer, net 30, net 60, he saw the report. He's a CPA. He knows that when there is something wrong, whether it's financially wrong, he should have reported to the rest of the board. He should have told all of you that, hey, he's not doing his job. And then you, Miss Newbeck, quit covering for him. Quit running this stupid board. I'm sorry. Do not help him. And he even said, he acknowledged that when did you know? When did you possibly know that there was this not just financial malfeasance going on? When did you know that? You don't have to answer these questions, because quite frankly, I don't expect an answer out of any of you. But when two board members actually brought this up, and thank God they did, in a political year, and the rest of you wanted to sit back and worry about whether or not you're going to get a vote, you guys would have got 10 more votes if you said, you know what, there's something wrong here. This is absolutely wrong. But instead, let's just be quiet. That's all I got to say. I want to see, you know what, we're all here because one way or another, we have something politically to say, but $600,000. We add that to another $50,000. Then we hire an HR person, so that's probably what, another 80 grand? So we're well into the 720s. We don't have a park that we're gonna end up having to build a park that's probably gonna cost a lot more than $600,000. So we're gonna be at like easily 800,000 by the time this is all done. And you know what, who gets to pay for it? The community. Doesn't matter which side of Clarkston you live on, we're all gonna have to jack our taxes. And if we don't do that, then we become, you know, hey, our land value goes down. So again, what happens? Our property taxes go up and our value goes down. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Tasha Shergan, 9393 Thornhill Drive. What Sandra mentioned earlier about the chicken ordinance is just a small example of the fact that our elected officials took an oath to defend the Constitution and to protect the citizens of the township, but it seems like they're implementing more stops for the citizens than supporting the citizens. You know, we see what's happening with these big businesses that are allowed to do whatever they want, tear down all of the land, build these big buildings, but nobody's looking out for what's the best interest of the citizens. And so I just want to remind you guys, when you take that oath to defend the Constitution, that means protecting the citizens of the township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me back up on a different topic.
Well,
Can I do a different topic?
well, you just already your 5 minutes, you know?
It was 3 minutes.
Okay, all right, I give you 2 more minutes, all right.
2 minutes, okay. Linda Bazone, 7925 Foster Road. It is with a heavy heart that I bring the following up to the residents and the board. At the last board meeting, Mr. Morocco admitted that it was he who had contributed to the increase of legal fees, as he was the one who had spoken against an employee publicly and on social media. He stated, "I am not embarrassed about it." Hence, the township was having to deal with the aftermath of Mr. Morocco's bad decisions. He should have at least shown some remorse for the added cost to the taxpayer. Maybe Mr. Morocco should consider reimbursing the township for said costs. During this back and forth conversation, Mr. Morocco stated Mr. Aliaga's lack of management experience was the reason for the extra cost. I have worked with several large organizations because we are in a place and time where people like to sue, and it is a real risk. It's a real risk and a costly risk. We were not, in my business, we were not even allowed to give a write-up unless legal looked at it. The only write-ups we could do were attendance, because those are easy to prove. Regardless of how much managerial experience a supervisor, director, VP, or CEO had, they still had to run everything through legal before they wrote somebody up or let go of them. The most amazing statement was from Jose Aliaga, supervisor. He stated to Mr. Morocco, "I am not your puppet. You have been texting me. If I don't do what you want me to do, you're going to attack me. I have your text messages." And isn't that what we have seen for the past 3 to 4 months, attack after attack with many half-truths? Mr. Aliaga, you should immediately show all these text messages from Mr. Morocco to your legal department and request immediate resignation of Mr. Morocco should be demanded. Extortion, intimidation, blackmail, coercion are not becoming of a township trustee. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, my name is Darwin Moore. I live at 9165 Evie Road. For full disclosure, I am going to run for Independence Township Supervisor as an independent. So I will not be on the primary. I'm not up here to campaign at this time, but I will be running, so I want everyone to know that. I am here to talk about what's going on with the township, the board, and the departments in the board, and no one's standing up and taking any accountability for anything or addressing any issues or showing any integrity whatsoever. And as a resident, I'm upset. I'm disgusted with the politics that are going on. with the lack of accountability of anyone to stand up and do anything. All of you live in the township, correct? I believe 3 or 4 of you here tonight are on lake boards, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I live on Whipple Lake. I have lived in Independence Township my entire life. I was issued a ticket, a civil infraction ticket in 2011 for putting a seasonal dock in and not pulling it out in the wintertime. I was given permission to put it in by this township. I was told I could put it in, and yet once they took me to court and told me if I take it out and show them that it is seasonal, I could put it back in. They have changed it, and I've been fighting that ever since. I've met with the last 3 administrations who have told me they have changed the ordinance, they do not want to do docks and everything else, but yet I cannot get anyone to give me written permission to put it in. I came, I talked to the department, they would not even accept a written request asking what the process is. I have met with Jose, he called in Peter Keenan, the prosecuting attorney, who sat there and made a bunch of false accusations in my mind. And I was told by Jose and Brian Ottman that Peter Keenan works for the township and they will do what they're told to do, and that I would be given written permission so I could put the dock in and have the same privileges as everyone else in this township. Yet, I still have not got anything. I asked for something in writing within 10 days from that meeting, and no one has responded to me. No one has given me anything. I see we have an attorney here. Every meeting I come to, we have meetings. No wonder our legal fees are so high. What are we doing as representatives to make this happen? Okay? We shouldn't have to have an attorney here before you guys answer a question. I've heard people get up and harp on this board for not standing up to Pat Kittle for Jose. Believe me, Pat Kittle has done me no favors. I'm not sticking up for him. But this board, including Jose, has not stood up and questioned anything when anyone talks about anything. You sit there and you take it. You read from your computer screens and you pass through what's already been programmed. You are not representing the population that I see or the ones I talk to, and I'm concerned about that. I'm asking for each board member tonight to let me know if I can get written permission to put my dock in. There is no reason I should not be able to get written permission to get rid of a court order that says I need written permission. People with drug offenses and everything else are getting released because they've changed the law, but yet a simple civil infraction you guys are afraid to address. And I cannot get anything to tell me why or specifically what needs to be done to make it happen. I am very disgruntled with this board, this township, and this administration. Jose has made me promises. Jose, I'm sorry, you haven't followed through with what you said you would do. The least you could have done was at least call me and say, this cannot happen, I cannot get this done in this amount of time or anything else. And I haven't heard from you since that meeting. I don't know where else to go, but I am going to keep pushing this issue. I think it's terrible. The chicken ordinance, you want to put an ordinance in and you let things slide until something goes wrong and then you write a ticket and we get all kinds of bad information. I was given permission. I did everything I was supposed to do at the time. I'm running for township supervisor, as I said. I went to the clerk and I asked them what to do. I was given bad information there. I was given a letter that I was disqualified because I couldn't pay the $100 fee like a Republican or a Democrat. But yet, I still haven't been reimbursed my $100, and I was told when I paid it that I would be reimbursed if it was no good. I'm collecting signatures at this time. I do plan on running, but I would expect you guys to stand up and start doing what's right and have some integrity. As she mentioned, you know, you take an oath. Why don't you honor it and give the people something to be proud of? Thank you.
Okay, all right, moving on, presentations. No one else gonna, yeah.
Can you just let them know that public comment is not discussion?
I know.
That's why we don't. I know,
Well-
but let them be aware.
Public comment is not a debate or discussion. We take in consideration your opinion, and we want to follow up with that. But it's not a debate or forum. All right.
Person online has their hand up.
Anyone online that would like to address to the board?
I would like to address the board, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay, sure. Mr. Morocco?
First, I want to apologize to everybody for not being there tonight. I'm sorry I had a family medical emergency I needed to deal with. Secondly, I'm ecstatic to see so many of you there. I'm so happy that the residents have woken up and are going to participate in fixing the problems that we have. I'm a little bit disappointed that we took off the presentation tonight because Joette Kuntz was more than prepared to make it. She prepared it. I supported her on bringing it to the board and presentation, but I'm happy to wait 2 more weeks and then I'll be there personally to deal with it. I'm not really going to say much about what people had mentioned about me because I can clearly see what I'm finding is that people are trying to ride Jose's coattails to get elected, and then all of a sudden they'll figure out what's going on and change direction, and that's really not. I don't care about that. But I do apologize to everybody for not being there. It is something I feel passionate about. I think it's something that's needed now that I've been on the township board for 2 years and seen how poorly things run. And I don't consider it personal attacks. I don't consider, you can show whatever text you want. It's basically me telling Jose to do his job. And if he doesn't do his job, then I'm going to call him out for not doing his job. And if that's attacking him, well, then I'm attacking him. But that's how I do business. I warn you what's coming. If you don't do what I think is best for the people, I don't backdoor people. So that's how that goes. I'm not trying to get Jose's votes. If people don't want to vote for me, don't vote for me. If you don't want my help with oversight, I'm cool with that. I'll go about my business and go live in the woods. But I am disappointed that got taken off the agenda. And I will be I'll be there in 2 weeks, and we'll start that process over again. Thank you for the time.
Okay. Anyone else who would like to address to the board before we move to presentation? Anyone else? Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. No? Okay.
Yes. Gentlemen.
Right there.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Ron. Teresa, nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody on the board. My name's Frank Migliore. I live at 4570 Wood Hall, Clarkson, Michigan. A year and a half ago or so, there was an appointment for a treasurer, of which I was one of the individuals that came to do so. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to point fingers or do anything else. There are solutions to this problem. And I think that's what really is missing. An EDI factor able to put into this system here can do all the checks, can do all accounting, can do everything else that you're looking for. And I'm not here to sell it. I'm saying to you because of a business guy, those solutions work. And the township and all the accounting and the treasurer and the clerk and everyone on this board can have access to that systems and to know monthly closings, all the things that go on. It can be completely transparent to the residents and get it done. So as far as what the independence, as far as what was provided, that's great. They found stuff, but how do they find a solution? That's what needs to be done in this community. And if Jose, you don't know, you've got resources, and this community has resources they can find. As far as somebody in turn bashing or pointing fingers at the building department or the planning department or that, I can tell you right now, I've been a year and a half in this community doing stuff, and I know these guys are out there and working together with it, following the law, working together with the community and the developers. There's not a single permit that doesn't get put in. There isn't a single individual that doesn't get inspected. And some of the things I hear are just absolutely incorrect. And it's wrong because I'm sitting there, I'm one of the guys on the ground. And you know, with planning divisions and the planning department and all that, there's nothing unusual about this community. It just has to understand that what the rules are along the way and how to get it there. And so if in turn all we're doing is negatively showing each other how bad it is before an election, which is not too far away, I challenge any one of the folks, Mr. Rocco or anybody else, come talk to me. I'll tell you what the positive things are. I'll tell you how to solve these issues really easy. And I do that as a consultant to a client in turn that's doing development in here, not as an employee of them. And so in turn, more than willing to sit down with anybody in this room here to go over how we can help fix this community. And as far as audits go and things, there's a way to resolve that. There's ways to get through the monies. There's a way to make sure the planning commission works. There's a way that the building department and the planning all work. All they have to do is ask. There's laws. I mean, if you want to know about the legislative law on supervisor, it's right here. If anyone on this board wants to put a supervisor in here rather than superintendent, okay, it's what they allow. But I don't think that's necessary because the people elect the people. The people elect you, everybody here, not just appointed. And so if I now have to have a board that appoints a superintendent to manage this community, no one in here has a right to understand who that is, because it's the board that determines who that. And if you want a superintendent, count me. Have a good one.
Okay. Please. State your name and address, please.
April Klein, 6486 East Lawn Avenue. I believe that we should be waiting. You should do research and put a lot of time into research in a new form of government. It should be rolled out to the people. It should not be done weeks before voting starts. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Please come to the stage. State your name and address.
My name is Don Tillman. I'm running for Township Supervisor, 7755 Newport Drive. Allergies. I just want to come up with what Chuck.
Can you be close to the microphone, please?
I just want to come up with Chuck Pyle's recommendations if he wants for supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great. If that's what he wants, that's fine. But I think we need to ride this out personally, since we're so close to November, and let the people decide who should be in. And I'm all for it. If that's what Chuck wants, hey, that's him. Do I personally don't want that if I win? I'd rather continue the way we are, but I'm definitely totally against this kind of game. So, I mean, but, you know, everybody's their own opinion. So, if that's what Chuck wants, that's fine with Chuck, but I'm totally 100% letting us ride to November. I just think it's fair to everybody. It's too late in the game. I don't know why we didn't do this a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I feel it's a vendetta, but you know, I'm not going to get into that, but I think we just need to let it ride out. I really do. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else before we move to presentation? Anyone else would like to address to the board? Sure, you can come to the podium and state your name and address.
Thank you. My name's Pam Brookshire. I live on Main Street in Clarkston. I've lived in Clarkston, Independence Township, since I was 17 years old. And always felt like this community was, you know, it honored, like you have Independence, the bell, you honor our government, and more of, I don't want to divide it, but as a way to describe it, a Republican type environment. I've always admired it, and I've always felt that everybody that was on a board or held a position of local government had our best interest in, and now I'm hearing, and I saw some things in the paper. And let me back up. I said I live here since I was 17. I also lived in Chicago for 10 years while my husband had a job that took us away from here, but we kept our home. And because of his illness, I got away from this community. So now he's gone and I'm back, and I'm kind of stunned to the options that I'm hearing for this community. Number one, I wasn't around, or somehow I missed the whole Meyer thing. I'm not impressed. I know there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm letting you know, I think that was a bad move to put something like that in this area. If you just go by the Meyer on Pontiac Lake and M59, I don't even go there. And if I had to go there, I'd be out of there by noon. It goes downhill. Crime is unreal, and we're right by 75. And I think it's going to be a crime magnet. And I've always felt safe in this community. And I think you are getting swayed by the big dollar. And I don't like the way I'm viewing people's attitudes and their money. It's becoming a money-grubbing community. And the other thing that I will fight to the end, and you've got my attention, I don't want anything about cannabis in this community. You can drive down the road 2 miles anywhere outside of this community and get what you need. And I'm not against individuals and what they partake in. I don't want it in my backyard. I don't want what it attracts. I want to feel safe. And it's just a money thing. It's big money. So I will be paying attention to that. And the other thing that I heard is that there's some kind of loophole or some way around that you don't have to live in this community to be on the board. I could be in Chicago and run for a seat and sit on the board. No, I think if you sit on this board, you should live in this community. You have to support the community of which you're trying to run. You cannot live somewhere else and influence and tell the people that live here what to do. Absolutely not. So you've got my attention, and I'm looking at your names, and I do know that I voted for you. So I have faith in you. All your names are familiar to me in the memory of my ballots through the years. You have my support, but what I want is not to be swayed by people who are trying to pad their own pockets with their own agenda. And stand up for your rights and keep this place safe. And we don't need to become another overridden, populated, cookie-cutter community. We don't need to be, I'm not naming names, I'm not going to go there, of communities, but you get my drift. And I think we should let people have chickens and roosters and let them have what they want. If they want to have a garden in their front yard and get rid of their landscaping, go for it. If you want to have chickens, have chickens. If you want a goat, I don't know about that. But I support livestock, and I support people trying to be healthy and gardening. So, and I'm not here to attack or make anybody feel bad, but I am watching you, and I am concerned about the money deficit, and I do not want cannabis and any other kind of money coming in so that you can grow bigger. And just for record, I don't like Myers. I probably will never go there. But that's because I would have been here screaming no, no if I would have known I had to vote way back. I was probably not here. But I appreciate you letting me speak tonight, and I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. Okay.
Pam Brookshire.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name's Mark Pedersen, 6716 Almond Lane. A township superintendent, eh? Well, everybody, I'm the one person in this entire room that's done just that to our community back in 08 through 12. And I want you to know It worked out fantastic. Our supervisor was never here. He was absent all the time. I would have said, in fact, I even said in the newspaper that I didn't want somebody else having control over our community, like an outside professional. However, I couldn't have been more wrong. And I'll admit that. I was wrong. Because I seen how township superintendent, not township manager, there's a difference. The township manager is appointed to you when you can't reach the black in your budget. Here you go. You got 1 month, and the state's going to tell you, here you go. A township superintendent works much differently, but along the same lines. He, the town, or she, is subject to the entire township board, not just what a supervisor or a clerk brings to the board that is already biased in their view. So in other words, you're going to get all 7 of your members back instead of just a couple who have the guts to say, hey, this isn't right, let's move on, let's fix this right now. I personally believe that a township superintendent, not township manager, a township superintendent would be the best for our community. Look, I've been here 60 years. Same house, born and raised right there on Almond Lane. And I've seen our community grow more than a lot of you. Dirt roads, everything. And we continue to grow. When I left as a trustee for Independence Township in 2012, there was a huge explosion of growth in our community. And I understand why. We, the residents, cannot afford police, fire, library, all those millages out of our pockets. That's why we have to have businesses in our community to help make up for that. If we took all the businesses away, none of us could afford to live here. None of us. It would be off the charts to have the programs and the services that we expect, the taxpayers expect to have. That said, I hope you give this some real thought and not beat this up trying to make this something political, because I don't believe that's what it is. It's about what's doing the best for the township since we've grown so much. It's getting to the point where 7 members just can't handle it. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody.
Hello, I am Eric Klein, 6486 East Lawn Avenue. Known Mark for a long time, love his passion, don't necessarily agree with him. I don't necessarily disagree that you should be able to look at your situation and see is there something we can do better. And I'm not going to, everybody's talked about Chuck's banner and the thing he's brought out, I've got the same one. But what he did is he said, hey, I'm going to run, this is what I'm going to do, and I want a superintendent. But he's talking about, if he gets elected, he's going to do his due diligence, and they're going to do the work, and they're going to look at the opportunities, right? And that's the right way to do it. I think the way it was supposed to be brought today, which it wasn't, I think it was a personal attack. I think it was darn near an attempted coup by one person that has been attacking Jose for the last 6 months. And I don't want to belabor the point, everybody's talked about it a little bit, but it just seemed like it was a personal attack and there wasn't any thought put to it. And I know it was, hey, we're going to put a committee together, we're going to talk about it, but it just seemed haphazard and you won't do what I want you to do, so we're going to try to get you out of there. We can't beat you in the vote, we can't outwork you. I mean, I know, we knock on doors, we do all this stuff. I would say 100% of the people, but probably 98% of the people say, we love Jose. We love Jose. We like what he's doing. So it's not that. It's just that one person doesn't feel like he's not doing what he wants him to do. That's the way I look at it. That's my opinion. And again, Mark may be right, and Chuck may be right. It might be that the superintendent might be the way to go, but not right before an election. That's just really nullifying the election before it happens. It's nullifying the people's vote, and that can't be what we do. Thank you.
Joette Kuntz, 9740 Reese Road. I wasn't going to speak today, but I am now, just a little bit. I brought the idea of a superintendent to this board probably in January or February, sometime earlier this year. I've been here 57 years. I have been through 11 supervisors, and I do pay attention to government. And we've had excellent supervisors. We've had supervisors who were just gone. They weren't here, and all in between. I have a presentation. I don't know if you think this is Sam Morocco's idea. It's my idea. I'm not running for anything. And we are a $50 million budget. We have 36,000 people. It's something to look at. It's not something about the election. It's something about where we are now. So please give me the feedback. Thank you.
Okay. I guess we're moving now for a presentation. Oh, please, okay.
Hello, it's 7199 Deer Lake Court, Norm Freschke. You know, the one thing that's good about this whole process is people are talking. What I know is that in the past, now not under Jerry, because he was only here a short time, but in the past, all the deals were done in the back room, in the closed room, and then we'd come here and it would be a vote, no one would talk about it, and everybody was yes. That's the way that process worked, and that was not good for the people. And I'm going to keep this short, but if you look at it, this type of talk, this type of involvement is good. So the one thing I do know is that the one person I feel that listens the most from the past that I've talked to is Jose. I didn't feel that at all from a lot of the folks that were in the old regime, where I would send emails, I would send my opinion ahead of the meetings, and they wouldn't be addressed in the meeting. I don't know whose opinion were being represented, but if you get someone that sends you an email, you need to represent that opinion, I would assume, because you're representing our voices. And those voices were not heard, and I see a lot more voices being heard now, today, than it was back then. So the bottom line is, whatever it is, to take the political stance out of this situation, just hold off until the election. If this has to happen, push it off. Not much is going to happen. Yeah, sure, you need to grasp on what the financials are and what has to be done, but make this a non-political issue. Push this till after the election. Thanks.
Okay. All right. I guess we can move on now to presentations. Is no one else would like to address to the board, right? We good. You need to mute yourself. You need to unmute yourself if you want to address to the board. If someone would like to speak, can you unmute? We have someone that would like to speak on Teams. Can you mute? You still mute. We cannot hear you yet. John, can you mute the Teams, please? Can you speak? Can you speak, please? We cannot hear you. John, can you mute the Teams, please? Okay. Can you mute, John? Can you mute? We cannot hear you. John, can you unmute the Teams, please? Unmute, yeah. What's going on?
Maybe it's her computer. He can't.
Yeah, maybe in your computer. John, our IT guy probably is working right now.
Last time this happened, they had them log off and log back in.
Yeah, maybe you should log out and log in again. So maybe it's what is the problem? Can you do that, please? And texting John. John, can you? So Teams is working. I was told, but something maybe is not working in your computer. Maybe you should log out and try again, please. It's no a technical issue on end. It's actually the. Okay.
Showing she's muted again.
Yeah, it shows mute, but according to John, it's in her end. Okay, maybe we can continue and then we can give her a chance when she have it. We will give you a chance. We moving on with the presentation, and when you are ready, that's okay. I mean, we will do that. Brian, you want me to start first, or with my presentation, or?
Brian's on first. That's why I asked you what you're going to do. You said you were going to put yours on number 2.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, Brian, let's do your presentation first. Okay. Okay. All right.
Which one? Okay. Oops. Mouse is touching. Perfect. Thanks, Jim. Good evening, board members. Just to take you down, walk down memory lane a little bit. In 2021, the township board authorized expenditure of funds to come up with the plan you see in front of you, which is for the open space outside of Township Hall. So at that time, we formed a committee consisting of Mr. Carlisle from Carlisle Wortman, Jim Epping, who's a local resident and a landscape architecture land planner, and a couple representatives from Noack and Frous, one of which is Jeff Huda, who's one of their executives there, and he's also a township resident. And the idea was, with the approval of Walton Village, we wanted to come up with some idea and some plan for this open space that you see in front of you, and it's on the north side of the building. Some of you may not know this, but in the last few master plans, the Sashabaw Town Center has called for a community gathering space. Originally, that was planned down by MSU Credit Union, but that was held by private property owners. So we thought with this land basically being useless at the moment, except, you know, the guys take half a day to cut it, we thought that, you know, why don't we do some sort of gathering space to bookend the market that is being constructed right now. It's not a traditional Meijer, it's a market, which is similar to the one at down by Royal Oak Beaumont. What we've designed here is to incorporate the Veterans Memorial, which right now is kind of buried on the property in some trees, and also to continue our stone pillar and fence that you see along Sashabaw that the project across the street will also have. I'm going to turn it over to Jim Epping to kind of go through the details of the plan. He designed this very carefully, and you know, then we'll be able to answer any questions that you have.
Good evening, trustees. Again, my name is Jim Epping. I'm a resident of Independence Township, 9336 Sashabaw, and I'm also a landscape architect, so I appreciate the opportunity to work with and for the township and take a look at this. You know, as a resident for a long time, that always seems to be a qualifier, right? We all have to say how long we've lived here. So I've lived here, I guess, a long time at this point. And it's a great township, and particularly our parks are really a robust park system. And what's nice about our parks is we've got Clintonwood and Bay Court. We've got an awful lot of real highly active parks, family-oriented parks, parks that have a lot of flexibility. But we also have a great residential community, and like a lot of traditional communities, we talk a lot about the elegance of Independence Township and Clarkston. And what you'll see as you look through the Midwest and through the South and different American towns and cities is they typically have a public square and a town park associated with the city hall or the town hall or something like this. And we're lucky enough that we've got some vacant land in front of the township hall. There's always talk about a potential expansion for this building, and so we want to plan for that even if that's sometime in the future. But we've got an opportunity to create a new type of public space within our community with land that's already owned. We don't have to purchase the land. We've already had an awful lot of interest from private citizens, private corporations and stuff. So I think there's opportunity as we get into costs, which we can talk about in a minute, with some type of a public-private partnership. But really, as a designer and as a landscape architect, our charge was, what should a town square be? So number one, it's a civic place, a place of importance that's walkable. And if you draw about a half a mile or a mile radius around here, you can see all the residents, all the neighborhoods, Lake Walden Village, Cheshire Park. Across the street, there's a lot of residents. As we go past the high school and up and down Waters, there's an awful lot of residents. So it's a centralized location for our township, and a place where I think kids can ride their bikes and families can walk, and obviously people can drive. We've got an opportunity too with parking and shared parking both within this building as well as some of the development that's going to happen across the street. There'll be opportunities for parking. But the design of the park was really intended to be a few things. Number one, to be that civic place. So we've created this idea of creating a public plaza that could have outdoor events, outdoor classrooms. It could be simply a place for people to eat lunch. But it could also have different ceremonies, different opportunities for the township, the fire department, the schools, and so forth to gather at this civic center or civic plaza within the park. We've also created up on the corner near where might be the new flagpoles and a new sign that's more in keeping with the overlay standards. But there's an opportunity to do a nice holiday tree or some type of significant element up on the corner. It'll have the foreground of the township sign and logo, relocating the flagpoles over there. And so it's an opportunity to create, again, another civic event. Over in the area that's showing as kind of a dark blue area is a small playground. Now, we've got a lot of great playgrounds both at our schools and at the other parks. This is really conceived to be more of a sensory playground. And by that, I mean playground likely for younger kids, probably 3 to 5, 6, 7s. as opposed to the young teens or the 10 or 12-year-olds. We've got a lot of parks for those. And this would be designed for children of all abilities, where there's opportunities for touch and smell and interaction with different surfaces and so forth. So kids of any abilities would have the opportunity to play here, to work together and to just enjoy it. There's a plaza there for families with some sun covering and picnic tables and so forth, so grandparents and parents can come up and sit there. Brian mentioned the War Memorial out in the corner, and many people may not even know it's there. We've got a beautiful stone with plaques on it that's a nice memorial to our veterans of our community. It's, you know, just kind of in an unfortunate place, at least as it relates to trees, is it's really buried, and I would think that maybe many of our neighbors don't even know it's there. And so what we've done is try to bring people to that, create a small sitting area around it, and really bring that landscaping away from it and honor that memorial more appropriately. We've looked at things like safety. We've got a unique situation here that we do have a little bit of topography. The land rolls back to the town hall. And so our design really calls for just a small wall as we get closer to the safety path, maybe about 10 foot off. So we've got an opportunity to put in fencing and some of the decorative pillars that we see up and down Sashaba so that there's no easy running back and forth up to the safety path. You'd enter the park from either the entrance, either from Walden Center Drive or from the western area there. So kids who are playing, families who are playing in the park just wouldn't be able to run back and forth towards the road, but it would really be enclosed in a nice, safe environment, but open at the same time. You know, again, it's a civic place and it's a public square. So on the bottom of the page, you'll see a dotted line. That's just an anticipation of you know, if we were to add sometime in the future another, say, 65 or so feet to this building, we want to preserve that space. We don't want to put in something that 5 or 10 years later we're going to have to rip out. And so we very deliberately push the park to the north, and we'll just maintain that lower area as a nice grass area that, you know, again, kids can play on, families can gather. If this building was ever to grow to the north, then that plaza is really very appropriately located where that might be some future front doors of the town hall sometime in the distant future. So again, what we've done at this point is we've worked with the Parks Department, as Brian mentioned, engineering department, the planners, the master plan, and really tried to interact with some residents to start to get their feedback. In terms of budgeting, we've done mostly with the township's engineer, who are really, really good at budgeting construction costs. We've started to develop some preliminary budgets. We've had corporate citizens come to us and say, hey, how can we participate? And so we would see this as an opportunity that perhaps the town you know, does, and this is just me thinking out loud, but there's some things that probably the stage has to be set. Maybe the area gets graded, maybe the sidewalks get built, but then I can imagine, you know, anywhere from a small company like me that I'd raise my hand and say, boy, we'd like to buy a bench, or we'd like to buy several trees, or maybe there's larger corporations and citizens in the township that said, hey, I want to donate the flagpoles, or we want to do play equipment. And so we've started to organize the budget like that to line item it and go forward. Really what I think the stage in which we're at right now is to get feedback from the township board and to understand if it's appropriate to keep moving forward. Really the next step is not committing to saying, hey, let's build this park, but it's to refine the drawings, to continue to work with the engineer, and to really line item out that budget so that then through whatever mechanism, either through probably a committee of some sort, we start reaching out to some of those citizens, corporations, local benefactors that might be interested in helping, and then start to really understand when and how this can be built and what that would mean from a township's investment point of view, but maybe more importantly, how do we get the community involved with that? So, with that, Mr. Supervisor, I'll open up to questions or answer anything that that the board may have.
I don't have any question, but anyone have a question? I just got something there. Anyone will address a question? Sorry.
Yeah. How many, thanks for the presentation. How many acres is this park comprised of?
It's the green
It's not, or
space-
maybe like, it's probably
Less-
not even an acre, right?
less than an acre.
Half an acre or
Less than
something?
an acre,
Okay.
right. The green area.
Are there any plans to do something with, I know that you ultimately envisioning tie it into the market across the way and kind of create that community feel. Is there any, was there any consideration to do something like this, similar scale, larger scale on the, and again, being relatively new to the board, with that 7 acres across the street that was part of the PUD of that development?
So there, and I was, Mr. Trustee Tedder, I was part of and one of the lead designers of that project, so I can speak towards it. Through the various iterations and approvals of that plan, we certainly have 7-acre open space to the north of that. We also, at earlier versions of that drawing, considered different types of public areas within the lower area closer to the market. The final plan was approved to, very specifically, the Planning Commission had a lot of discussions about it because Walden Center, as it goes into the northern site there, is a private road. There was discussion from the Planning Commission that that probably wouldn't make sense to be a public park, a township-owned park, because there was no public access to it theoretically. Now, the open space there certainly is going to be good open space, and the reality is that I think any resident of the of our township could walk into it and enjoy it. Down by the market, the final plan shows a pretty large and pretty active plaza immediately outside of the market, and the mayor and the operators of that came here during the Planning Commission and talked about how that'll be programmed seasonally and weekly and monthly with local growers and school kids. So from private open space, I think there's going to be some exciting things that are happening there that everybody can enjoy. This is a little bit different. This is a public square that would be owned by the township, would really become a different type of park within our park system. So I think they complement. I know there's a lot of open space discussions in the township and actively saying, hey, how do we acquire more property to do parks within the township? Here's property that we already own that really is just very ready to be developed and used at a higher scale by our neighbors.
All right. And being in such close proximity to a busy road, is there the fencing around there? Because you're talking small children, and I'm sure parents will be paying close attention, but accidents happen.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big concern. You'll notice that there's no sidewalk connections going towards the safety path, deliberately bringing people down into the sides. The Sashba overlay standard has a fence detail and a pillar detail that you'll see up and down Sashba, and so we've repeated that same thing here. We'll have those stone pillars with the black wrought iron fencing in between it, and so it really is, there's no one, big, small, or otherwise, can just wander from these sidewalks straight north onto the sidewalks. They'd have to deliberately go around the fence.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hold on, please. It's an order here. Is anyone in the board would like to address any questions? Ron? Anyone? No? Carrie? Oh.
Mr. Epping, can you discuss so the public understands too what we would have with like the crossover for safety crossing Walden for those residents that would want to come visit this way? And I think so the connectivity is important, I think, for them to understand.
That's a great point. So as part of the development across the street, and you're starting to see the commercial parts of that taking shape, part of what the Planning Commission and the board approved with that plan unit development is the improvement of this intersection. So this intersection, as the commercial is developed between now and likely Thanksgiving, the road will be widened, so it'll be the same width all the way as it is from Sashaba. It'll continue straight down. There's already a light that's been approved and paid for, and it has been approved by the Road Commission, and so that that light will be installed here and sequenced with the other lights in the area. there'll also be crosswalks. And so from a family point of view, from a school kid point of view, there'll be the push buttons, the light will be timed, and you'll be able to safely cross back and forth from the north to the south, as well as obviously across Walden Center on this side.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, anyone from the public now? They have a question about this presentation?
Go ahead. You go first. I guess, how big of
No,
an area
you have to
are
come to the podium, please, and state your name and address.
Okay, well, I'm new to this idea. Hi, Sandra Rahman, same address. How big is the area of an acre?
A little less than an acre.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's just, literally, it's the front lawn of this building.
But it's our taxpayer money, right, paying for that, and it's another park for kids, which is great. It's just an anchor, I agree. I just want everyone to know that we have Parks and Rec at the senior center that we've all paid for. The pickleball courts are jam-packed, and now on a Friday night at 6 o'clock, we're all kicked off because they're taking money and renting that out now, where our taxpayer money literally pays for that. And now they're getting more money and kicking off the pickleball players that have paid taxpayer money for those pickleball courts to rent them out for kid parties.
Okay.
So that's all brand new. It was jam-packed Friday night, and everyone had to quit playing pickleball because they're renting these courts out. Everyone should know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Tina Holland, 6292 Lake Walden Drive, Clarkston. My main issue is I'm concerned with the safety with all these businesses coming in here, to be honest with you. We have a shortage of police officers. I had gone to the police department. I don't know, I was told that the board went there and checked how compact they are. They're in dire need. With the population growing and growing, they don't have enough cops. And, I mean, this is nice to have the family, that's a good idea. But my concern is the police officers. They have a shortage of traffic officers. They have 2. Did you realize that? They only have 2 traffic cops. With all this population, and you've got Pine Knob, and then we got more, if we want to put this in. And also, my concern is that these police officers need flock cameras. I'd like to see first a bigger station with the fire department and the police first before we even expand anymore. Because if we keep putting businesses in here, folks, we're going to have more people. According to the police officer that I've talked, the chief of police, Tim Hortons in that area there, they're putting either apartments, I'm not sure, or something, another business behind them. Did you all realize that? Well, talk to the police. I don't know about you, but I want safety. I want to help the police. I'm running for a trustee, but I'm not going into political. That is my main issue. Now, I know that the previous board and this board, some people went and checked it out, how compact. Now, the detectives there, they're all squished together with no dividers, okay, to converse to the crimes and what have you. I saw this. The police, women, have a little bathroom to put their bicycles in. They're cramped in there with a little shower. So I would rather put the money towards the police department first before we start expanding. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. That concludes the presentation. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Now I have a presentation for the board. Another question? Oh, sure. I have one more question. Sorry for that. State your name and address, please.
Ray Llewellyn, 9254 Pine Knob Road. I think a park sounds nice, sounds great. We'll all go to this open space area. But first of all, how many parks do we have in Independence Township today? How much are your taxes? how much is this going to cost? And my final question, because Brian said it was approved in '21 by the board, I would like to ask you, Carrie, or whomever I need to talk to, I'd like to know the vote on that. Because again, not just because, you know, it's June and we're looking at August and all this, but you people do the voting for us. You're supposed to work for us. We shouldn't have to work for you. We shouldn't have to pay, you know, for all the, I mean, to just get you to do your jobs. And I think talking to the people and saying, hey, would you like this open space area? It's going to cost you this amount of money. We never get some kind of a survey in the mail or in the newspaper or that type of thing. I mean, you know, whether you're 30 or you're 70, it's the dollars. That's what it comes down to. And then, you know, it's like, oh, we need to buy another piece of property for another park besides this piece. It's like, just take care of the ones we have. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you want to speak about the park? Okay.
David Hayward, 6764 Berwick Drive. I don't know if anybody mentioned this or did any research into this park, but it was voted on in 2021. The board only appropriated $50,000. AARP was given a grant to us to also assist with the park. And if you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I've said anything wrong, please tell me. And the rest was supposed to be funded privately. So I believe our cost has been $50,000 for this park. And that money's already been appropriated. So now, going forward, I don't know if the board would intend on putting more money into it, but of course, like everything else, it would have to come before the board in a vote. Am I wrong? Please just tell me.
Okay.
If what I said was wrong.
Thank you. All right.
Mr. Supervisor.
Yes.
I may be wrong. Mr. Hayward is correct in terms of the appropriation. It's my understanding that that was really to get to the design, the planning, the engineering, and then enter into this public-private participation where, you know, depending on what funds could be raised privately, the actual funding would have to, you know, additionally come back to the board for that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, we conclude the presentation. I have a presentation now for everybody.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, who's that? I guess it's something going on in the... John, can you check the audio, please? John, can you check the audio? I guess I hear somebody swearing or something. Yeah, all right. Okay. It's kind of nice to be in front of you guys and make a presentation. I feel, as you know, I'm the Township Supervisor, Jose Aliaga. And probably you see a lot of things on Facebook, social media. It's unfortunately that, you know, this happened. I mean, I got hit almost since we're close to the election. I get attacks online, personal attacks, the streets, my family get attacked all the time, my wife. And it's sad. I never thought that this gonna happen during this time, but we are close to the election. We are actually 1 week from the election. It's not just August 6th. We have absentee coming next week. We're gonna have absentee. And certainly, you see all these attacks on Facebook, continuous attacks, harassments, and you probably don't know the truth because there's a lot of things going on. I run with a platform of no backdoor deals, and you wonder probably what is a backdoor deal. I'm gonna show you tonight what backdoor deals is. It's going to be very interesting tonight. Here it is. And open a presentation here. I got this text message. I mean, those text messages right here that you see there. I mean, if this is going in South America, in Peru, I'm going to turn it. That's called in Peru harassment. It's called, let's see, let's read one of those. Just want to say your job is going to be a lot harder with this. I have to cover it anymore. You're pulling this ladder. I give you a chance to do the right thing. Now you will need to be replaced, like Jerry and others. Good luck. You can be the first person from Peru run out of office. Yeah, believe it or not. I gotta be the first person from Peru run out of office. I guess that's okay. It's totally okay to do that. That's fine.
Very mean.
I know, but that's what happened almost every day by text message and Facebook and all that. And that's totally wrong.
Very cruel.
Yeah, I mean, all these things, and I show it to you right here, is what happened every day to me. Sooner you're fired. Sooner, yeah, it's just negative, all this. It's happened to me all the time, attacking to my wife on social media, bashing my wife, and all that. Now, this is kind of interesting. Kiddo's going to love this. I am going to do the work for him. I don't know what that means exactly, this one, but anyways. I have a breakfast with Chuck today. He's a friend of whatever. That's, yeah. Well, this is attacking my wife. It's kind of normal, which is not a problem with that. But, so my question is, if appears the superintendent's idea, there was a long time brewing, but it's apparently this was depending of how I abide by a trustee request. And it seems, it's in plural, it seems from your text that others are involved. If not you proposing this, who are they? I want to know who are they. How can I do my job effectively as your proposal claims? I don't know if also you tell me that my job will be harder when votes are 6-1. I don't know why he's claiming that. What do you mean by if you do this, I am one of them? Who is then? What do you mean with Kiddo will be happy, this is a former supervisor, and you will do what Kiddo work? I don't know what that means. What does saving over the employee you want to fire means? I don't know what that means. Do you enjoy the breakfast with Chuck? I just wondered if he did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. I don't know. In the name of transparency, as you like to point out daily on Facebook page, where you post about me, I would like to also be transparent. Please respond to my question tonight on Facebook page and your next meeting. Thank you. That's all I want to say tonight. So, all this that you're seeing is full attack to me all the time, threatening me that if I don't do what he wants me to do, they're gonna call for superintendent. This is what it's about. They were asking me things that it's not appropriate to do, there's no right to do. I elected by the people. I am no. I am not I want to do what is right for the people. I elected for the people. I am asked the board to elect the people to vote on August 6th because it's the right thing to do. There's no right to do this coup to create a superintendent so they're going to circumvent the voters. That's totally wrong. Thank you for your time.
I have a question, please.
Sure.
Please, I have a question, please. Is it appropriate?
No,
Please.
actually, it's not. Is
Okay.
it public comment or not?
We're not there yet.
Well, when I went out there for both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Follow the agenda.
I appreciate this. That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. I want to do what's right.
I don't even know if that presentation is appropriate.
Thank you. That's my presentation tonight. Yeah. Okay. Now can I open for any questions? Okay. Anyone have any questions they want to come to the podium? All right.
I guess I'm going to have one.
I would like to hear it.
I have one.
Sure.
I don't know if this was the appropriate place for that,
Mhm.
but alls I can say is now, anybody else at this table or any other candidate who is running certainly has the right now to go pull out your Facebook, how you're being attacked or whatever, and actually make a presentation here.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm just putting it out there.
Thank you.
Because it's not.
You know what, Terry?
If it is, come to the
Yeah,
podium,
sorry.
please. Mhm.
Come to the.
Okay. Okay. Mhm. All right. Moving on. Yes.
No, wait.
Yes.
There's somebody.
Yeah, I know. I know. You want to say?
You have
Couldn't
to.
do that
That
while
lady
I'm
was
busy.
first.
Okay, I know.
Okay.
Please, come to the point.
Okay. No matter who it is that did this presentation tonight, it does, to me, it's not a matter of, I'm saying this because it was Jose. It could have been Susie Q. But I think it's absolutely wrong for this presentation to be able to be done tonight. And we have a resident who, just like everybody sitting in this room, pays taxes in this township. It was on the agenda and got pulled off. And as she stated very clearly to the board and everyone sitting here, her presentation wasn't done or wasn't going to be done because some other person wanted it. It was going to be done because it was her idea. And she even brought this idea to the board months ago about a superintendent. So it wasn't like, oh, well, we've got the election coming up in August, so we better run it through today. That's nonsense. And there's a couple other points I want to make about Joette. Joette is a vet. Very few vets, I probably can count them on my hand, in this township who have ever been invited to go on an honor flight. She just experienced that with an all-women's honor flight to Washington, D.C. You know, she's in the DAR. Secondly, she and I have taken our personal time and went over to the television studio and offered to all candidates, not just Ron Ritchie or just Carrie or just Jose, but all candidates, if you wanted to, welcome to come over. She doesn't even ask you the questions anymore. You have this amount of time to do your presentation, and it's recorded, and everyone in the township that tunes into the television station can see about the candidates. I just think that tonight, a great opportunity has been missed with one of our residents offering to do a presentation, done her homework, and then instead, hers gets slated off the agenda, and this gets presented. Now, if I have a bickering with this lady, I'm going to take care of it outside of here, not here. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Darwin Moore, 9165 Evie. I'm not really sure where that was at on this agenda. Jose, someone started this meeting off by getting up and speaking how they came in and attacked you. I really think you lowered yourself here tonight to their standards, okay? By doing that as a supervisor and getting up and having that on the agenda and getting up and doing that in public to another representative. I think you lowered yourself to the standards that a lot of people saw thrown at you that were not correct, okay? Again, no one on the board said anything, tried to stop, or anything else. This is the kind of politics we got to stop. He's got a right to defend himself, he does. But is this the proper arena to be doing that? He had the opportunity to defend himself, and I'm not responding to him, but if you wanted to defend yourself, you had an opportunity when people came and spoke to you, okay? Independence Township, as I said, I've lived here my entire life. My parents were teachers in this district, my aunt and uncle, my family. I've worked in this community, worked for UPS for 25 years, delivering in the area. I am vested in this community, and I don't want to see this continue, okay? That is why I'm getting involved in running for office, but I do not know where this came from, but as a resident, and I see the way the ordinance are used against the own residents and misinterpreted and given vague information or incorrect information and everything else, it does stink, and you see that. You have it happen to you now, and you're up here. That's how every resident should feel about the way things are going in here. They should have that same passion and upset attitude that you got, that this board has been giving us as residents. It's not right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
I'd like to speak.
Let whoever's speaking.
Okay. All right. Okay, you can speak.
Okay, is it me?
Yes, Sam.
I'm not going to defend anything that Jose says. I just think it was a super cowardly thing for him to do. I just want to make it clear to the residents and everyone, that knows me, knows I'm a pretty much straight shooter. I'm bringing these things forward because of the incompetence and the input I'm getting from my experience at the board, 20 years at the township, 2 years on the board. I see how it's working. I don't apologize for anything. We are in a crisis situation. We have zero leadership. We're going to start losing good people. You guys all that defend the actions of the supervisor are because you know nothing about what goes on the day-to-day basis, and that's fine. So I can sleep at night, and all the employees that are listening all are like, yep, he's right on the money, but nobody can say it because they all want to get elected. Okay, well, I'm here till January, or not, to tell everybody what bad shape we're in and what's going on. And when you don't know what you're doing, you ask people what to do, and the people you're asking are the people that are the problem. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't apologize for anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do you fix your microphone? No? Okay. You? Sure.
Jerry Whitney, 4814 Sundale. Jose, you're a candidate. Tedder's a candidate. I trashed Tedder when I ran against him. Just destroyed the man. It's fair to say, Tedder. It's okay. He even ran for trustee, and you know what? I came in here, and again, I trashed him. And that's, again, and you know what? His thing and my beef, you know what? I came in here, we shook hands. We're civil. We know that we honor this place. We honor our government because we love our government. But what you just did was BS.
Okay. Thank you. SBS.
Is this lady here going to be able to speak, Jose?
What?
This lady going to be able to speak? Or
Yeah. Do you like to speak, please? Would you like to speak?
Can't.
She said she's trying.
If you sign out and come, okay.
Did you log off and log
Yeah.
back in? Okay. That worked for somebody last week. That's why I'm suggesting that.
Anyone else that would like to come up and speak, please come to the podium.
Supervisor Aliaga.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Dakota.
I'm sorry, excuse me really quick. I'm just trying to answer
Yeah.
her. She's trying to see if she could call
Have her
in to
text-
somebody.
Text her phone
Text-
number.
Okay. Just, can you tell?
She's got your number, Jose. Is she
Text her
trying to
phone
call
number
you?
through the message chat. Text in the chat.
No, we'll keep it up here. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got it.
Okay, all right. All right.
Can you go to my write a phone number on a piece of paper, show it to her, and have her call it?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Dakota Jaunan Unquid. I'm Native American. My family lives in Waterford, and we're trying to come here in Clarkston and buy a house. My niece, she's from Commerce Township. She told us, you know, you better think twice about, you know, moving to Clarkston because there's a lot of racial things going on. So she, you know, told us to go to YouTube. We went to YouTube, you know, and I was like kind of concerned about it because, you know, I'm very inclusive individual. But the things that I've seen on Facebook and YouTube, I mean, I've even come last time to, you know, just kind of feel out, you know, your guys' residents and township and whatnot. And it's just kind of, you know, disturbing there's no inclusiveness within, you know, the board. I mean, to let it rant and rave, I don't know if you guys were here 2 weeks ago. It was kind of disturbing because I thought, you know, that was somewhere for like Detroit City Council, you know, to beef out with each other or not. But what I just seen, you know, it disturbs me because my children, they're Mexican, I'm Native American. So what if we come into your community and we want to be a part of it, you know? And my son, he's going in for political science. I'm just kind of undone here because what's going on, what just happened, what I just witnessed, that violates our Title VII of Civil Rights Act of 1964. And me and my family, we've been fighting for equal rights our entire life. So it's just kind of disturbing. I really hope that this is not how things are done all the time. Because the people that I've met are wonderful, you know. I just hope that their prejudice stops. Thank you.
Emeralda Goichais, 6533 Deer Ridge Drive, Clarkston. I want to say I am running for trustee. I'm not sitting here because of that. I've been involved in politics, maybe behind the scenes more so. Never a political person to ever run for office. Noticing what's happening, been to a few meetings. I'm just going to say I have 7 kids, and it's kind of like being at home, being in this meeting, because everybody just argues with everybody. I do want to say something to the lady that preceded me. I am Albanian. I was born and raised in Albania and lived in Italy as well for a portion of my life. So I grew up in Italy. I come from a communist country, for you that are not familiar with Albania. I loathe dirty politics because we grew up with it. That's all we know. And so I came to the greatest country in the world, and I still believe that wholeheartedly today, including the dirty politics, because you do have a voice, which you don't have in Albania. My family didn't have it. My dad was prosecuted by the government. He was put in an internment camp when he was a child. So I know very well dirty politics. I grew up watching it happen and not being able to have a voice. So I live in Clarkston. I moved from Albania to Clarkston. I've lived here, it's going to be 24 years, and I love Clarkston. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I work in Royal Oak. I go to dinner in Birmingham, and I love coming back to Clarkston. It's my community. I've never been disrespected. I've never felt left out. I've never felt, oh, we don't want you here. It was always like, oh my God, that's amazing. Tell me more. Tell me more where you come from. Why do you love the United States? I love it because it is the American dream. And I know some people, maybe our youth is not so strong about those feelings. I do. My children do. Because I raised them to believe it is the best country in the world. It is the land of possibilities, and you can achieve anything you put your heart to. So I just wanted to tell you, if you do want to move to Clarkston, we are very inclusive. I can promise you that. That said, I do have an issue with how Jose's presentation was received. If someone sends you a message every single day threatening you, they also wake up every morning and post on Facebook threatening you. And then they comment to people that are supporting you, oh, you're supporting because you're riding coattails. You're best friends, okay? So we can't support, we can't speak, he can't comment, make those messages public because shame on him. How dare you? So he chose the very platform where we are looking for transparency. We are here, right, tonight for transparency. You came here, you put yourself in a chair where you are expected to be transparent. So what is wrong with telling the township, this is how I'm being treated behind the scenes? People, how do I show you how I'm being treated behind the scenes? How can I make my position clear? That if someone calls me, you're going to be the Peruvian out of office, and tomorrow, if I get elected, you're going to be the Albanian we're going to throw out of here because we don't like you, then what? Then what? How do I defend myself? If I can't put it here, I can't post it on Facebook because we're being keyboard warriors now. That's what we do. We go on Facebook and we, and then you go, and then your cousin answers, and then your sister is upset. And so now we have a family affair where, why can't I just say? And to your comment, you should be able to bring comments on here. You should be able to bring a presentation and show the people how you are being treated outside of this room.
Yes.
100%. I will support you. I will stand here for you like I'm standing for him. Because you should make it public. If someone is threatening you behind the scenes, you should make it public. We are not in communist Albania. We should not be treating our township. It's sad to me. In all honesty, I will tell you as elected official, I'm running because I just couldn't believe how people talk to each other. Like, I look at Washington right now, and I can't believe it. It's like, you watched Biden get lost, but don't believe what you watched. Let me tell you what you just watched. And if you think otherwise, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a nobody, okay? That's how I feel in here. Don't believe what everyone is posting online. Let me tell you what you should believe. Let me tell you how to interpret the message that was sent to me, and looping it back to the superintendent proposal, because I don't know if it was made or not. I respect the lady for bringing it up, because I'm sure she has concerns for bringing it up, because who doesn't have concerns? However, if you get a text message that tells you in January that you're finished and anything you propose is 6-1, and you're never going to do your job, how am I to do my job? If I tell my husband, you're screwed because me and the kids are all against you, you try to run that household, ma'am, because it ain't running. That's all I have to say. So all of that said, because it's going around, but when you have 6-1 running anything and someone is telling you, that means that someone behind the scenes knows that it's 6-1. And that was very much visible at the Planning Commission meeting. He proposed 2 people. It was shut down for no reason. It was not backed by facts. It was not commentated on how and why we are turning down Jose's proposals. It was 2 people well respected in the Clarkson community, longtime Clarkson residents, had all the qualifications per the resume, and all of a sudden they got shut down. Then it goes on Facebook, the board gets heat, and then 2 weeks later we come back with the same proposal, same people, but somehow the board votes them in, and it's okay with it. Nothing else happened, nothing new happened. So if everybody works together, which that's what you're here for, and I genuinely, as trustees, I wish you guys went to, like, again, I have nothing against it. I just want to make sure that you guys are talking to each other, not against each other. Because it seems like everybody wants to have their opinion, and everybody stands pridefully on their opinion. There is nothing that can change it, not even facts. And everybody wants to be the one to overcome the other, instead of all of you getting together, and if Jose doesn't know something, show him how to do it. That's what you're for. Like, no, I've owned businesses, I've worked for the courthouse, I now work for a law office. I've never in my life went in and knew everything I was doing. I walked in, someone told me, guided me, and when I didn't know, someone else came and said, listen, this is how we should do this. And we all did it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Yvonne Brady, 6504 Andersonville Road in Independence Township. I'm new to this area from the Brighton-Sylvan Lake area, and I have recently...
Go ahead. No, you just say it. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I've realized, I've recently heard some things that I was a little uncomfortable with, and I wanted to make a suggestion because I don't know, and I don't know how many people of you out here that know, because I'm not a politician. This is not my field. It's not my agenda. I don't know. But when somebody tells me that they're going to input somebody into a position that's going to tell me that if I vote for whomever I vote for as an elected person, whether it's Jose or whether it's his competitor, but if they're going to put in somebody, if they're going to put in somebody that his vote or his say means nothing, then why am I voting for him? I don't understand. And I would like, and I'm sure this nice fine lady, and I have no opinion on what, because I am very much ignorant to the fact of what a superintendent does over what a supervisor does, and why would we have that same person? Why can't we put that to the general public to explain to them why we need that person? And people will understand what she is voting for, what she brought to us, for what reason. And I'm just asking, maybe we can put that out before we just do an election and nobody knows or understands what it's for. And I applaud the nice young lady and 1,000%. Thank you so very much. Nobody on the face of this earth should ever be discriminated against, talked to like that. That's horrible. I don't care what you are, who you are, or what position you are. He has a right to defend himself. Point blank, I'm done. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Sure. No.
Public comment?
Hi, my name is Tracy August, 3427 West Moon Trail. This is for Sam Rocco. After reviewing your comments
Can
regarding...
you please repeat your name? State your name.
Tracy August.
Okay.
Thank you. After reviewing your comments regarding legal fees, I would be concerned if Mr. Eliaga didn't utilize necessary legal services. Let me tell you something. Legal services are your best asset. In saying that, do you have any idea what a lawsuit regarding discrimination acts would cost this township? Mr. Eliaga has done very good for his community. I can't say that about many politicians. I really don't understand using the internet to publicly attack someone with absolutely no foundation, just pure racist undertones. When you stated, you can be the first person from Peru ran out of office. That has discriminative and is bullying. because you're not saying he's going to be voted out of office, you're going to run him out. The Title 42 USC 1981 covers all employees and statutes prohibit race discrimination. And by identifying him as the first person from Peru to be ran out of office is so wrong. And I commend Mr. Eliaga for his presentation. I don't know if anybody here has been a victim or victimized, but your first thought process is to defend yourself. And that's all he was doing. And as an American citizen, he has that right to defend himself. And just so y'all know, I drove 3.5 miles to come here because I've been following this. And I love the people here.
Hello, my name is Ovi Laze. I'm on 1870 Valley Lane. I do want to say that I do agree with everything that the lady from Albania said. And I just want to talk a little bit about my family. So we moved here in 1982 from Romania. It was a communist country, and my dad, he was on a hunger strike to be able to come to the US. He is a mechanical engineer, my mom's a chemical engineer, and because of our Christian religion and because we were anti-communist, we were literally thrown out of the country. Say, hey, you gotta leave, you're a political figure, and we see you as danger. So we came to the US in '82, and I'm thankful to God for this country. It's given us opportunities where we didn't have them before. And I want to thank the vets. People don't do that. So whoever's a vet, thank you. In communist Romania, like every communist country, we did not have the right to vote. Here we do. And thank God for that. People paid a heavy price for us to vote. Me, you, everybody, right? So, it's our God-given gift for us to vote. Let the people decide and not the board on issues, okay? That's why you gotta let the people vote. Like it says in our Pledge of Allegiance, liberty and justice for all. Give them the liberty to vote. Thank you, and God bless you.
Jim, you figured out the lady association?
I tried calling her. The number didn't go through.
No? Okay.
She's trying to get us.
Sure. Oh, he's trying right now.
It's not going through, the one she gave me.
Okay.
I tried the number.
We're trying calling you right now.
I tried calling your number several times.
No calls.
Oh, no calls. Oh, I don't know.
We've been trying.
We're trying, yeah.
It's from the township, IT.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
Jim did.
Can
we get the number again? Can you show your number
Can we just write it on a
again?
piece of paper and show it
On
to
a
her?
piece of paper.
Yeah, just put your number.
Calling, does your number?
Okay. That's your number?
She's calling somebody.
She's calling somebody, yeah.
Is that a township number?
Yeah.
Can you
the
maybe
number
type
she
your
put
phone
up
number in the chat?
Is not going through.
Can she sign back out, sign out
I-
and sign
That's
back
what we
in?
asked her to do.
Told her.
Can she drive to the meeting? Can anybody just write?
Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving.
Just write a phone number on
Yeah.
a piece of paper and show it to her.
Yeah, write your phone number in the piece of paper, please.
And just show it to her.
Write your number in a piece of paper.
Here.
Okay. Yeah, we can move, okay. Go ahead, Matt.
Where's our camera here?
I don't know.
Yeah, what does she see?
Can I see if I can,
She's got to give us her number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you text your, can you chat your number in the
type in
chat?
chat, type your number in chat?
It's right there, Jim. Right there, look. It's highlight right there, look.
Oh.
You see it?
Okay, got it.
All right, please. We can continue. Can you want to do? Yeah. Name and your name and address, please.
Matt Johnston, 6533 Deer Ridge, Clarkston. I've lived here for 15 years now. I'd love to see a lot of people, I'm 43, so I'd like to see a lot of people under 43 here. I'd like to get, a ton more people here, it'd be great. But as I sat back here and listened for a minute,
please hold.
I don't claim to be a super intelligent guy. I got a lot of kids. The one thing that I don't like is that when I have conversations with my kids, I tell them not to be a bully, right? So like, it's a big deal last 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. That's all I see. And that's what I think is really weird. So I would love to see it operate like you would do when you stop and thought and when you would talk to your kid when they're 12. Like, I operate multiple businesses, and my employees the same thing. Like, we just slow it down, and honestly, if you operate at that level, things can run really, really smooth. So the bully aspect, I think, happens a lot, and maybe we don't want to say it, but I would say that's all I've seen, the meetings that I've been to. Some people like to pontificate, they like to hear themselves talk, and there's a lot of ego. And I'm sure they know who I'm talking about, but it is what it is, right? So if we could just really like stop the bullying, it would be awesome, because that's what we teach our kids. Like, that's like an elementary thing. In fact, I tell my children, if I ever find out that you bully somebody, I'm not going to say it publicly what I would do, but it is what it is, right? So again, that I think would be huge. It would be huge if we could eliminate that. So that's it.
All right. Okay, Debbie, you ready?
Okay. I guess somebody's gonna talk.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I gotta Can you hear me? Oh my God, there's so many.
Mute your computer.
Oh,
Did you?
But talking to your
You're
phone.
still on. You're still on here. Talk in your phone. Your phone is.
What happened to our phone?
I don't know.
Yeah, just walk away from your computer. We don't need to see you on screen.
There she goes.
Okay.
I have you on phone. Hello? Hello?
Okay, we can.
She's on.
Oh.
Okay, you're on the phone here. You don't need to mess with your computer. Just talk into your phone. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, can we move on?
What? I want to move on. Yeah.
Did you mute your phone? Because I can't hear you. I have you on my line.
We have to. Yeah, we have to move on with that.
Hello?
I guess it's not working.
It doesn't need to work. We have you on phone.
I'm sorry?
You don't have to be on computer. We have you by phone. Your audio is by phone.
I know.
We can hear you loud and clear.
We're waiting for.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I'm so sorry. So anyways, so I don't know, my name is Debbie, and I don't know, I haven't met any of these people that's been coming up and saying anything about me at this point. I started September 11th, and I replaced Cheryl for the assistant treasury job, or assistant finance director job. And
I guess we cannot talk about,
is someone talking?
no, I mean, yes, we cannot, can we?
Jim's got the
There is a
microphone.
time limit for
Hello?
public comment.
Sure,
Let's follow it.
I know, I'm following, okay.
Now
You
it's
have,
public comment.
okay, there's no public, it's about the presentation, okay.
Okay, continue.
Okay, thank you. So anyways, there was talk about Linda, actually the Treasury Department and the auditing, when it comes to the bank reconciliations. What happened with
Yes.
that is that the township.
Yeah, hold on, there's not a topic about the presentation there. We are about the presentation.
What's her name?
Your public comment needs to be germane to the agenda item. And
Yeah, the
agenda
presentation.
item is a presentation by Supervisor Aliaga. Is,
All right, never mind then.
okay.
Okay, all right.
Yes, never mind.
Yeah. It has to be about the item that we, okay, moving on. Anyone else? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Who's that? Okay. About the topic, please.
Yeah, about your presentation.
Just Sam, but you already spoke, Sam.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah, you're
you're
right.
attacking me
I
as
don't
a
attack
hit
you.
job, a pre-hit job, but
I
I'm
don't
not there to
attack you.
defend myself. You know? I just want to let people know that whatever, they think is not true. Me and Jose have been friends for a long time. And I threw him his bachelor party. We've been buddies. I just happened to find out that he can't do the job. And it's become a problem for the employees and other people. And you're showing private text. You want me to make a presentation of all the private texts you've sent me personally in private conversation? You spent 2 years bragging about you're the only person from Peru being elected. So it's not a racist statement to say you'll be the only person from Peru to be unelected. That's not racist. So I just want to make that statement. You made a big case as a coward while I'm not there.
Okay.
But I'll be there in 2 weeks, and then we can have a discussion in public.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for threatening me again. Okay. All right, moving on. Okay. Now we move into consent agenda. Request to approve the Board of Trustees regular minutes on June 4, 2024, and a special closed session minutes on June 10, 2024. 2, request to approve the June 11, 2024 check run including ACH $1,515,732.90 and ratify the June 7, 2024 and the payroll $356,105.59. 3, request to approve the 2024 budget amendment 20, increase human resource FT wages, payroll taxes, and benefits. 4, request to approve the 2024 budget amendment 21st, pull on spend 2023 funds into 2024 for BTC and CW paving and seal coating. 5, request to approve Clarkston Community Education Agreement between Clarkston Community Schools and Parks and Recreation and Senior for registration services. 6, request to approve Verey Lodge rental and alcohol. 7, request to approve Verey Lodge rental with alcohol. The number 6 was Friday, July 12, 2024, and 7, Saturday, July 13, 2024. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Regular business. We remove 1 and we remove 2nd, I believe.
Yes.
So we want to do it number 3rd. Request to approve the bylaws amendment, Parks and Recreation and Senior Advisory Committee and Senior Community Center. Advisory Committee, or Parks and Rec, Adam Klein.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you ask people to come to
Yes.
order, please?
I mean, it's fine. I mean,
They're just talking.
Everybody's talking over
okay,
top of us.
please, if you keep it silence, please. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm the Parks and Rec and Senior Director. Hopefully, as I present this to you, I've outlined how this happened, a much larger timeline in the MAPE. Hopefully it was easier to follow. Also included the red line items. So I'm just proposing some bylaw changes to both the Parks, Recreation, and Seniors Advisory Committee and also the Senior Center, Senior Community Center Advisory Committee. We were taking a look as we reestablished the Parks and Rec and Seniors Advisory Committee. We started to look at the bylaws. We also discussed it at the Senior Center Committee. And what's happened here is I'm asking if you approve these, the Senior Community Center Advisory Committee is going to be a subcommittee of the Parks and Rec and Senior Committee. I've taken it to both those committees. They both approved of the bylaw changes, and they're asking for you guys to approve them tonight. I also worked with Dan Kelly's office because it is a legal document. I wanted to make sure that it was all legal, and they have given you a separate opinion on that. So if there's any questions that I can answer that wasn't in the May 4, any questions you have about the steps that we took, I'm here to answer.
Sure. Any questions from board members?
Just have a comment. I
Yeah.
appreciate you getting the red line, Mr.
Certainly.
Klein, and
Yeah.
bringing it back. It's much easier for us to see the changes, and I appreciate your working with us to.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I want to point out that for many years, we didn't have a committee. And when Adam came in, I asked Adam, we need to have a committee. We need to have a committee, we need input from our residents. So he reacted with this committee, and we got a lot of people to sign up. As you see, we just got almost 39 acres addition to Clintonwood Park. But we need to have a direction, and we want to include our residents. So he put it together. We have a lot of people active, bringing some ideas. Somebody brought the issue that we need more pickleball courts. We are working to see if we can do that in this new addition. So Adam is doing a tremendous job, a great job. Just also, I need to update, since I don't have the Independence Times anymore. Baker Park, when I actually got elected a few years ago, I worked there, and the accessibility was terrible. We have a lot of potholes, so it was terrible. So Adam, I was talking with Adam all the time, and now we have asphalt there. Now it's very smooth to get there. And then just in the end of April, we have the open house for the new playground. So overall, Parks and Rec are doing great. We provide the best service like ever before. Our parks are doing well, and I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication.
Jose, not that I want to cut you off, and I appreciate your praise, but I have an excellent team that has worked tirelessly for me, and they really deserve most of the credit.
Right, that's right. Sure. You have a great team, and they thank you for all that. Thanks.
I think, Jim, you had a question?
Yeah, no, I mean, having served as, continuing to serve as the liaison to the Parks Rec and Senior Advisory Committee, I think it is important that there's a distinction to focus on senior issues, because there's a lot of great discussion that takes place on the Parks and Recreation. You just mentioned parks, but this focus, frankly, well-founded in establishing this subcommittee of the advisory committee is important. We're continuing to age as a community. That's just a reality. And so we need to be more cognizant of how we spend our money and make sure those services are representative of our population demographic.
Yeah, that was part of the reason, at least I wanted to bring the Parks, Recreation, and Seniors back together, is when we start talking about those budgets, and we have some recommendations that the seniors are also at the table at the same time Parks and Recreation are there. I think we can get a better response on how we need to go forward.
That's good.
Okay. Good. That's good. Thank you. Yeah, I also want to point out that you see today in the MAVE, we have been renting a lot of Brady Lodge. And the reason that is thanks to the board and thanks to the team the Adam have together, we have now heating and cooling in Brady Lodge. And that allow us to have our residents to rent out for 4 seasons. You see, before, we couldn't do that. Now we have, because we have a heating and cooling and we have a nice roof, a nice flooring now, our residents are enjoying that. And a lot of the people renting now is also senior citizens, so this open also for our seniors to enjoy. And then it's very large, our parks are providing great services for our community. And thanks again for your team, Adam. And I think somebody would like to make a motion, or?
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the amendments to the Charter Township of Independence Parks, Recreation, and Seniors Advisory Committee bylaws as presented.
Support.
Okay. Anyone, second?
We got a second. Ron did.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion B?
I'll move to approve the amendments to the Charter Township of Independence Senior Community Center Advisory Committee bylaws as presented.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Now we move for a closed session.
No, we had number 4, Mr. Tedder addition.
Oh, yes, your addition, Jim.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully this is very benign business, but we'll see.
Sure.
I certainly support and acknowledge the township has a digital or paperless policy, and I think that's certainly good on a lot of fronts, certainly from a fiscal perspective. However, I don't want our directors to be handcuffed in giving discretion to our appointed and elected officials that as a function of their job, as a function of adequately performing their duties, that if they request a paper copy, and I'm going to be specific here because I think it's maybe the most germane example, our planning commissioners, right? I believe we expect 3 copies of our developers to submit a site plan as an example, 2 by 3. And I certainly, having rebuilt my home about a decade ago, the value of having that in front of you and having time to spread it over your kitchen table or what have you is important. And so as a function of those roles, I think we should have some latitude. I guess maybe to solve it in a generic way, maybe we up the requirement to 7 from 3. I think that may reduce the burden rate out of the gate and wouldn't really require too many special exceptions. And again, I can't really think of other examples. Like, I'm on the Parks, Recreation, and Senior Committee. I mean, maybe there's a request by someone to have a blown up piece of land or something, but in large part, that we have the latitude to, for larger size files that warrant that type of review, that we either change our policy or we do something to enable whether it's our directors or managers to be able to tender those requests by our committee, appointed or elected committee members.
Sure.
So that was just my thought, just a small but I think impactful down the road. And again, if I'm looking through one final thing, and I'll button it up. If I'm looking through the lens of a planning commissioner, and I understand there's an opportunity, they can come to the Township Hall and they can review the document here. But if I'm a planning commissioner and I'm reviewing, and most contemporary example, multi-million-dollar car wash, I'd like to take it home and lay it out on my kitchen table and have not just an hour or 2, but a number of days where I have the ability to thoroughly vet and review said site plan. So that's my motivation for asking consideration tonight, and I'm not sure how we would proceed, but again, as a starter, I would propose that we would require 7 copies and additional copies as requested by said members.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Just to clarify, it's a good point, Jim. This policy did not start with my administration. It came before even 2012, I was told. I didn't know about it until one of the planning commissions came to my office, Mr. Sucher, who's sitting there, and told me that that happened. But the copy was provided by your office, the clerk office provided a copy at that time. But talking about the policy that came before 2012, I would like to get some input from our director. Brian, can you tell us kind of what will be the steps to, if we would like to change that, and
Well,
if that will be efficient or not? Or?
If the board directs us to do that, that's fine. We always get one hard copy. The planning commissioners have more than enough time to come and review the copy. I've not heard one complaint from a ZBA member. And this policy's been in effect since, I believe, 2016, 17 for Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals. I don't care necessarily if I have to get more copies, that's part of the deal. But then we have to either deliver them, they have to come pick them up. And the amount of time it took us to assemble packets back in the old days where we had paper was literally an entire day of staff time. So I'm not against it, I'm not for it. I'm here I will follow whatever policy is dictated to me. I don't have a problem with that. But all the commissioners are advised that the hard copy is in our office and for the public to view, and also the commissioners. And there is one or two specific commissioners who come in every day of the meeting and have their stuff printed, and they review the plans.
Yeah, I want to clarify my remarks. I mean, as a township board member, I receive 200, we all do, 200 plus page packets. I'm not referring to your standard run-of-the-mill 8.5 by 11 sheet. I'm referring to, again, specifically site plan. We're talking a 2x3 document. My laptop at home is my dominant personal computer. It's a 15.5-inch screen. If I were on the planning commission, yeah, I can come into the office, but I'd rather do it in a relaxed environment where I'm not feeling rushed, I'm not subject to a 4-day work week, that I can take it home and really digest it. So I don't want the burden on my directors and their departments. I think it's an easy fix. We simply ask, moving forward, for some extra copies of the developers, and if we need to change that policy slightly, this might be an extra $60 that we're asking of our developers or someone that's submitting a site plan. So I think it's important that, that our appointed officials and elected officials have that option, that's all.
Sure. I would like to ask Ron, I would like to hear your opinion since you're in the PC. What do you think about this?
I was just going to ask Brian, since he's here, I guess I want to be able to provide the site plans too if warranted, but if it's only being rarely asked for, maybe we don't need 7 or 9 copies of the site plan. Do we have capability of making the copies or printing the copies?
I mean, we do. We have a plotter, but we pay a pretty hefty premium to plot,
Okay.
a 15-page, full-size set.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at then is if we have to go back and have the developers used to provide those copies for us initially. And I guess when I was asked about it, I'm not in favor of putting together packets like we did many years ago, but I am in favor of having the site plans available if somebody requests those, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and to be able to take them home for a night or two, kind of like checking out a library book, frankly, and bringing them back when they're done. They don't need to keep them, but just having it as an additional resource.
As requested, I guess, to me, like I say, I don't want to be putting together packets to hand out that we're not utilizing, so.
And I guess I do want to assert, it's expensive, but that should come at the expense of the applicant, in my opinion, not the township.
Agree with you. Totally agree.
So, can we maybe come up with a number larger than one because right now we only get 1 copy?
For planning commission, yes. Building department gets 2 sets, so there was a little distinction.
So I mean, I don't know what would be reasonable, but 4 or 5 copies seems like it's not going to break the bank of the applicant but it would provide extra copies for our planning commission.
Basically, we need 8. So 7 commissioners plus a hard copy for staff. So
Okay.
consultants had no problem printing them.
Yeah.
Doing
Yes.
it.
Very good.
All right, I would propose
Hold on,
8
please.
hard copies.
I think
Okay,
Mr.
Claire?
Epping would like
I
to
know,
speak.
so I know,
That's why I was
but
trying
the
to
board
get
members
your
we're talking
attention.
right now.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I was just trying to
Are
get
you
your attention
finished,
for
Jim?
him.
You
I
okay?
believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, unless.
Okay, sure.
Mr. Chairman, thank you again. It's Jim Epping, 93365 Sashbaugh. I'm coming to you as I'm also the chairman of the ZBA in the township, so have some similar experiences. I also am a landscape architect, as I mentioned, and I work in probably 24-plus communities in southeast Michigan every year. So from an applicant's point of view, from a landscape architect's point of view, I can't think of, I'm not against it at all, but I can't think of another community that over the last half dozen years or something hasn't gone paperless. And essentially, frankly, I used to make a lot of money printing documents, and we would submit those. Average application submission would cost the developer, and it always is a developer's cost as opposed to a township, but anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 worth of printing each submission. And so it's not inexpensive, but frankly, I've never had a developer that says, hey, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of money, but that is part of the process. Every community that we work in has gone paperless. When I pay my bills, they've gone paperless. When I get emails that says, hey, please don't print this, we want to go paperless. These are larger copies, I get that. From a ZBA perspective, I've sat on the township's board, the ZBA board, for about 7 or 8 years now. We've been paperless for 5 or 6. And we look at decisions that applicants bring in, residents bring in, that look at the difference of, we want to get a variance request that is 6 inches or 3 inches or 2 inches. It really is that precise. And so we do blow them up and look at them. I'm really here just to give perspective if the township wants to do that, but it would be unusual compared to essentially every other community that we work in that is making strides to go paperless and be more efficient. I know from an applicant's point of view, from all the developers that we represent, certainly if it's a big project and someone at the township said, boy, this is really big or this is really complex, I'm sure that a special case, they would say, hey, we're happy to provide 3 or 8 or whatever number of copies. But, just in lieu of what I'm seeing, I might make that an exception in my opinion as opposed to a rule, because it just seems to be going in the opposite direction from a technology point of view.
Okay, thank you. Jim, my suggestion is we can prepare maybe a mail with Brian and his department to put something comprehensive for next meeting.
Yeah, this isn't a sprint, but something I think is worth consideration when I'm hearing planning commissioners having to use a magnifying glass to read documents. I don't know, and everyone's at different stages of comfort in technology, and we shouldn't necessarily have to preclude people because they may not be as adept in technology either,
Sure.
So
We won't take an action today, but I would
Yeah,
like
of
to
course.
bring something.
I don't have any issue requiring a developer to submit 8 sets. I don't. So, I don't know that we need necessarily to go through a formal process again, to do this. It's just, I'll change the application.
So
That's
I can send you an email and implement this then?
Yeah.
Okay, I will do that. I will send an email and implement this right away. Okay?
Okay, yeah,
Good?
and if we're significantly out of line with other communities, we can adjust that number, but again, I think something larger than 1, where there is enough copies to at least share, and again, not at the applicant's expense, not our expense.
Okay, sounds good. We're clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We moving now to closed session?
I'd like to comment.
Right now.
Well, I'm a board member and I'd like to comment. I'm not going to vote, okay? I was on the planning commission for almost 20 years. Anybody who's ever worked with full-size blueprints knows that you need full-size blueprints. The reason that the building department needs full-size blueprints and Brian needs full-size blueprints is because that's what is required to adequately see the job, the topography, the way that it's laid out. This is part of the problem we're having, is that, and I commend Brian for agreeing to do it. This is part of the problem we're having. We're not giving the tools we need to the planning commissioners because we're worried about the developer paying to print a piece of paper. And then we complain that our developments are bad and we missed all these details. That's how ridiculous this conversation is to me. We are always trying to save the developer money. Our planning commission members asked for the tools they need to adequately do their job. And the fact that we're having the discussion to me seems silly, but I'm glad that you guys are doing it. And you need to do whatever our people need to do an adequate job because everybody's complaining about what we're doing. It's not fair to have them take more time out of their life, half hour before the meeting to look at a set of plans that's 30 pages, an in-depth whole entire development like across the street from Township Hall. You expect someone to do their job looking at that on a 15-inch monitor and then criticize them for not getting it right. You're not even giving them the tools they need to do it. So that's why you need to give them whatever they need and stop worrying about saving developers money and start worrying about protecting the township. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Morocco. I never says I want to save developers' money. I never says that. That never was my intentions or anything. I mean, I'm surprised it was brought up tonight, but I don't have any problem to implement anything to help our PC. And keep in mind, Sam, I'm the one who recommended 4 new PC members. I'm the one who did that. So I know stop it or helping developers or anything like that. Just to be clear. All right, now can we move to closed session, please?
Make a motion to enter into.
Comment.
Oh, well, comment. I'm sorry, please.
Sorry.
Sorry for that.
Okay, Ray Llewellyn, 9254 Pine Knob Road. I myself worked for an engineering firm in Bloomfield Hills that represented Independence Township. I couldn't tell you how many sets of 24 by 36 drawings were made for this township. I mean, lots and lots and lots. My husband's an engineer. I know, as I stand here and talk to you, that there is no way he would go in the field, meaning the job site, with a 15-inch monitor or his phone and try to look at the drawings. There's just no way. I mean, that would be like me saying to Terry, well, your husband's gonna just, do my surgery just with this phone. There's no way. It is absolutely common. Now, if that developer who is spending X number of dollars on this development doesn't want to pay for, if he or she starts balking at 8 sets of drawings, then there's a real problem that the developer has. But I mean, it is absolutely common. To give you another example, I have a brother-in-law who is in the fire protection business, and he, I know, has many sets of drawings for the fire systems. So I'm just saying, it is common. And as far as going paperless, as someone mentioned, that's a great idea. But has anyone ever been hacked? Has anyone ever had their password, hacked into? Okay. Well, all of a sudden this drawing gets changed around. So thank you.
No, thank you, Ray. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now, we're good. All right. We're going for a closed session at 8:33.
I'd like to make a motion to enter into closed session for the purpose of discussing a confidential legal opinion regarding potential litigation pursuant to MCL 15.268H and MCL 15.243G at 8:34.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye. Jose, you
Oh.
might want to say we don't anticipate taking action if they
Yeah.
want to stay.
I would like to point out that we don't anticipate to take an action after the closed session, so I just want to let you know that we don't intend to do.
Taking roll call.
Yeah. Is it going to be roll call, Jim?
Clerk Newbeck, yes. Trustee Nalamothu?
Yes.
Trustee Ritchie?
Yes.
Trustee Tedder?
Yes.
Supervisor Aliaga?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we are back for closed session at 8:49.
Make a motion to return from closed session and resume the regular meeting at 8:49 PM.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are back. So, Well, we didn't make any decision. Communication, excuse me, please. Communication and future agenda item report. 1, report of building department, May 2024. 2, report of Oakland County Sheriff Office, May 2024. Communication, 3, communication fiscal 2024 actual to budget comments, May 31st, 2024. 4, communication Michigan Liquor Control Commission, new resort SDD license, Dixie Liquor Cabinet LLC. Board member comments? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.